Happy Saturday, happy Saturday, happy Saturday. Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, Saturday Live. I am here and I have three interesting topics to get into today. So I'm glad that y'all joining me because as always, we here to have a little fun, learn some things, do some examination, see what's going on in the world, how it affects us, and what we can do about it, how we can build, how we can grow. We're gonna disagree sometimes, but as long as we respect each other and come back and make sure that we here to build, that's all that matters. So I appreciate y'all for being here on another Saturday. It's a little rainy Saturday here in Tallahassee, but it is what it is. We got to go and do what we got to do on this Juneteenth weekend, and happy Juneteenth weekend to everybody as well. So as you can see the title, you see the thumbnail, Merlin Lou came across my radar. Merlin Lou is the young Asian 21-year-old who decided to burn a cross. And then he trying to act like he don't know what's going on behind that. So that's one of the things that we're getting into, because like I said, we have three interesting stories to get into. So talking about Merlin Lou, who is burning crosses in Chicago. Got another topic about I think that's one of the most interesting ones. I can't remember the name of the group of gentlemen, but they're having a conversation with a white guy, and they're getting into the Yakub story and the origins of white people, origins of black people, but that all goes into or leads into the white guy asking them, why can't he use the N-word? So we're examining why are not just white people, but why are so many groups of non-black Americans so interested in using the N-word and calling us the N-word? We're getting into that. And then jumping into the 154 podcast, the episode with Godfrey had, what's the guy named? David Oyelowo. David Oyelowo. Coming off the heels of the Drewski skit, where he was talking about the black British actors taking the roles of the black American actors. And within that conversation, though, what got David in trouble, and he even issued an apology when he was talking about the origins of the black American accent. Now that actually caught my attention, like my nerd attention. That caught my nerd radar attention, because I was like, when he was talking about the origins of it, because I'm not a linguist, but I like history. So I dove a bit into the history specifically the Southern Black American accent. And it's nothing about what he's talking about, but how he described it really got him in trouble. So we're getting into all of that. What's going on, Kiki? How you doing today? Thank you for being here as always. I appreciate you. So as y'all know, we're going to have some fun. We're going to learn. It's going to be everything. We're going to have all the full emotions going on, especially in this podcast. Because like I said, with the topics, and I'm going to sprinkle in a little Killer Mike in this too, because I've been saying it for years. I've been telling people for years that I don't know about this Killer Mike dude. I don't know if he really understands what's going on. So we're going to get into all of that. So before we dive deep, please remember to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share, hit that hype button. Wrong thing. Hit that like button. Don't worry about that number. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Make sure you tell a friend, hit that hype button, because we're jumping deep into this. So we want to start with what's his name? Merlin Lou. I want to start with Merlin Lou and his story, but also, me, all three of the stories are going to connect, right? Merlin Lou, he burnt the cross in Chicago, and then tries to play innocent. He tries to act like he doesn't understand the history behind cross burning. He's trying to understand. He's acting like, well, he's saying he did it in political protest, but I think he's playing stupid. So I want to dive into it. So that's what we're looking at. First, I have a video of a white guy kind of breaking it down, and then I actually learned that a local Chicago news station had a sit-down interview with Merlin Lou before he was arrested, and he was charged with some felony counts of arson and some other things, right? Hate crimes, actually, charged with hate crimes. So, but nonetheless, he got a sit-down interview before he got arrested for burning the cross. So we're gonna get into all that. First video is a white guy, then we got the interview. So let's get into it.
Cross burning in Grant Park. Chicago police say they have a suspect in custody.
Yeah, the disturbing display invoking a symbol of racial hatred has outraged city leaders and shocked residents.
So last week on June 9th of 2026, residents of Chicago in Grant Park were greeted with a sight that again is evocative of Ku Klux Klan imagery. It was a burning cross that was placed in the park, and on top of this burning cross was actually a MAGA hat indicating some kind of Trump affiliation. And of course, you had people in the media going absolutely crazy over the idea that the Ku Klux Klan had re-emerged in Chicago. Not since Jussie Smollett have we seen such a brazen racist hate crime occur in the city of Chicago. But the thing is, just like Jussie Smollett, this was obviously from the jump very likely to be a hoax. And by the way, we ended up seeing through surveillance video an image of the suspect, and many of you can see for yourself, this appears to be an Asian male. And
so context, the cross had a Trump hat on the top of it, and he's trying to say that he burnt the cross in protest of Donald Trump. And so what the white guy in the video is saying, liberal media took it and said that he was in support of Donald Trump. I want black people to not even focus on Donald Trump. We shouldn't even be focused on Donald Trump. We shouldn't even be focused on the right or the left. We should be focusing on him and his people fully, because he did it. He did it.
the way, appearances are not deceiving, because of this individual right here actually ended up coming forward after his image was posted all over social media and again shown in the news as he was a suspect in this attack. And what do we discover? That this individual right here is actually a gay Asian communist that goes to the University of Illinois, and supposedly this wasn't meant to be a hate crime hoax.
So of course, you know, this guy, this host is saying that because he supports the right. So forget what he's saying, but he's saying, I'm just adding context. He's saying that because he supports the right. And Merlin Lou, from what all his affiliations, is supposed to be like a liberal. So you know, they're kind of trying to spin it as this is him going at Donald Trump, but black people.
Supposedly, this was an art piece that was meant to symbolize something about Orange Man Bad, and yeah, I am not buying this, but I do want to point out that the way that the media treats this individual is absolutely insane, giving him a sit-down interview in the park prior to him being arrested, and yeah, basically allowing him to make the argument that he didn't do nothing wrong, this totally wasn't a fake hate crime, even though obviously this was a fake hate crime. And by the way, I just want to ask the question to everybody out there in the audience, and maybe you could tell me, maybe you could let me know the answer to this. What is it with the gays and doing this? Why are they doing the Klan imagery involving the Trump supporters in the city of Chicago specifically? I mean, we have the Jussie Smollett hoax, now we have this hoax, and I'm not saying that this is a pattern because I'm fond of the expression that two dots make a line and not a pattern, but the fact is, if I looked into this a little bit more, I'm certain that I could find additional hoaxes of this nature. And this is what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay.
1 week ago, this was a site of a fiery scene. You can see an art installation now stands in its place. It's meant to send a message of resilience.
That symbol of hatred is one that we must continue to reject, and I wholeheartedly reject it.
Mayor Brandon Johnson shared his stance on the burning object that was found resting on a tree engulfed in flames in Grant Park on Columbus Drive during his weekly address Tuesday.
I can't speak to anyone's motives. We can only speak to the impact, and the impact was devastating.
So for Brandon Johnson, a guy who likes to pretend that racism is around each and every corner, this was essentially Christmas coming early from him. Again, there is no politician, and I'm including people
Well. My thing is, everybody in America knows what the burning cross is. Like, everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows the history behind it. Even if you new to America via immigration, even if you new, meaning you young, it's not hard to find. KKK history, imagery, all that stuff there is everywhere. I think Merlin Lou was sending a message to black people, because you got to remember, this is also on the heels of the Cyrus Belton Carmack case, and in the midst of black people boycotting Asian businesses. Now, is there actually a connection? There may be, there may not be. I'm not saying it actually is, but there could be. But I'm just saying the timing is very interesting for this cross burning to be happening in the midst of the strife that's going on between blacks and Asians, especially when you had Rick Chow taking the life of Cyrus Carmack Belton. And black people are speaking out. Black people are saying this, black people are saying that. Of course, we ain't doing that real. And then you have this gentleman who comes, 21-year-old University of Illinois student, Merlin Lou. He admitted to constructing and burning the cross in Grant Park. He claims the act was intended to a protest against Donald Trump and Christian nationalism. And he was saying it's not a racist act. That's what he was saying, but we don't believe that. He has since been charged with multiple felonies, including hate crimes. But let me, before I get deep into my questions, let's let a little more play.
That were actually in politics during the Civil War that brings up the Confederacy and slavery more than Brandon Johnson. So obviously he was over the moon when somebody did a cross burning in the city of Chicago, not realizing that, of course, this was obviously going to be a hoax. But I do want to point out that the city of Chicago, in response to
Be Nice, look, I don't disagree with you, Be Nice. I do not disagree with you.
to this, decided to put out a rainbow heart at that location. So again, something that is evocative of gay pride as a response to this.
At the scene, a fiberglass heart has been installed with the word resilient. It was part of a 2021 Parade of Hearts project by the Love Institute. It was featured in 12 different neighborhoods. 5 years later, the same message has returned to the park, one of resilience.
And this is extra funny because the person behind this is a gay Asian person who aligns with Brandon Johnson on almost everything. So again, Brandon Johnson's like, I reject this wholeheartedly, I'm absolutely against this, when in reality, the guy who actually did it probably agrees with Brandon Johnson on 100% of things. In fact,
except for race. Except for race, he don't agree with Brandon Johnson on race. There's a lot of Asians who align with black people politically, but they don't support us, and they will cross us if need be. It's a lot of Asians who would stand with black people politically as far as Democrat versus Republican. It's a lot of Asians who would do that. But when it comes to the rubber meeting the road, black people, we know we have no friends. When it comes to Asians treating us less than human, we know they will take the chance, the opportunity. Think about why we're here. Rick Chow case. A history. Rick Chow has a history of putting his hands and shooting people, putting his hands on people and shooting people in that community. So yeah, I hear what he's saying, but the deeper thing is, when it comes to the team sport, the team of black, the team of Asian, the team of white, the team of Arab, the team of such and such and such and such and such, people are going to align with their teams more than they align with their political ideologies. Black people are the only ones, we're the only crazy ones who gonna go against the team for the politics. Yeah, and be nice. Look, we're gonna look at the interview. The interview coming up next. We're looking at it.
the Venn diagram with the person who did this hoax and Brendan Johnson is just a circle. That's just is what it is. So that's what we're seeing right here. And yeah, it's absolutely embarrassing. But what's more embarrassing is that this guy was able to do a sit-down interview where he was able to explain exactly why he did this. And needless to say, his explanation makes no sense, again, unless you assume that this guy was lying.
University of Illinois Chicago senior Merlin Liu says he knew the implications of a burning cross and had placed a MAGA hat atop the cross, explaining his motivation was to protest Trump administration injustice, not something racist.
How did you land on a burning cross?
Just, it came up to my head one day. I wanted to find something that I could do by myself. Like, no organization, no friends, no...
So look, I know Chicago is definitely a DEI city, but the fact that they can't find a white person even for these roles obviously means that we are in troubling times for white America, because you would think in the modern era of Hollywood, you would be able to cast white individuals to play the evil white racist, but unfortunately, that's not the case. And again, I do want to emphasize the fact that this guy put a MAGA hat on top of this, again, something that he wanted to be found, and immediately took off running, although he's now...
Hey, Merlin Liu pissed everybody off. Merlin Liu pissed everybody off with that one move. That this white dude mad too. So he insulted black people and conservatives at the same time, Merlin Liu. Way to go, Merlin. Way to go. I was looking to do something by myself without any help of an organization. But it was looking for clout. He got the clout he was looking for. He pissed off black people and conservatives. He said he knew the history of the cross. I got the interview, so we're going to go deep into the interview, but I'm laughing at the white dude because it just really popped in my head like, damn, he pissed off black people and conservatives with this one move, putting a MAGA hat on it. Pissed off the conservatives. And it probably pissed off some leftists as well. Way to go, Merlin Liu.
Now claiming that this was just a regular ordinary art installation and nothing to worry about indicates to me that this was a Jussie Smollett type hoax that he realized he was caught with, and now he's trying to lie his way out of it.
I did know about this historical relevance beforehand, but I didn't know the severity, how racially motivated it may seem from what I did, because my protest has nothing to do with race, nothing to do with gender.
Should you have done it some other way?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't believe him. I'm just gonna make that 100% clear to everybody out there in the audience. I think Merlin Liu, this guy right here,
hey, I'm agreeing with conservative glasses right here. Merlin Liu knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He full of shit.
Is lying. He's opportunistically lying. He's trying to reframe what he did as regular, ordinary free speech, when in reality, what he did was a hate crime hoax. He's like, I did know about the cross. I did hear about this. My protest, though, had absolutely nothing to do with evil white racism. I was just trying to go after the big bad orange man, evil man, orange man bad, Donald J. Trump, orange man bad. And yeah, I didn't really think about the historical significance, even though I knew about it and how much impact it would have, even though, again, every single time that we see a noose hoax or a banana hoax or something to do with a burning cross or a cross even being set up, we all understand the implications of this. And by the way, there was another instance out in Colorado, I believe, where something like this happened. We covered this on the channel. I may have the location wrong, where the hoax was done by a candidate running for office. So again, this is something that is common among these hoaxers in order to use this kind of imagery. And are we supposed to pretend that an ultra woke communist gay Asian that's a senior at university, again a very woke institution, had no idea that this would be interpreted as some kind of a racism? Again, he left the MAGA hat there so that people would find the MAGA hat and they would assume that the burning cross was connected to Trump. That's what he was trying to do.
Last week, Liu sent this scripted video to NBC claiming responsibility for the cross burning, but
So I do think it's funny that this little gay gay Asian kid decided that he was going to send a video to NBC5, and in that video he was going to say, look, I'm responsible for this, but just in case you guys are confused, I have no affiliation to the KKK.
Saying he had no affiliation with the Ku Klux Klan.
Nobody really thought that you had an affiliation with the KKK. In fact, as soon as people saw your image, they knew exactly what was going on. And again, unless you happen to be working for the Southern Poverty Law Center, nobody was suspecting you of any actual affiliation with the Klan. And by the way, there's actually an update to that SPLC report that turns out to show that one of the people actually shared a bank account that they gave like $1 million to with a neo-Nazi that was supposedly just infiltrating one of those groups. Again, a tale as old as time, Beauty and the Beast, a true Romeo and Juliet type tale for the modern audiences. But yeah, everybody understood that this was absolutely a hoax. And again, he goes down to double down on the fact that Orange Man is bad because he's trying to win people over by saying, hey, I hate the evil bad Orange Man just as much as you. But by the way, this has nothing to do with race. I mean, the number one reason why people attack the evil bad Orange Man has to do with racism. Even the way that they criticize his immigration policy is all about how evil bad Orange Man is a racist. But let me be clear to you guys out there in the audience, I, the gay communist Asian guy who goes to university, absolutely 100% do not care about race. I don't do race politics. I mean, come on, who believes this? Who is believing?
So of course, like I say, Merlin pissed off everybody, but from our standpoint, from a Black American standpoint, our beef for Merlin is a whole different than his white guys, because this is coming off the heels of it almost feels like the community, like he's put up to mock us. That's what it almost feels like. All right, we can kill you, get away with it, and I'm gonna burn this cross just to let you know who we are. Like we're superior to you as well. We're also your enemy. To me, it's like, you know, putting the sand in a line in the sand. Like, yeah, we are here. We're here to dominate you as well. It's another indication that we have no friends. Once again, we have no friends. This whole BIPOC stuff, this people of color stuff, all this other, nah, it ain't real. It's not real. Does intent matter more than impact? Does the intent of a person matter more than the impact? Even though in this situation, I think the intent and the impact matters. I think he was aiming at us. He knows the history. He's lying about not fully. He knows the history. He's aware. And he put the MAGA hat, in my opinion, he put the MAGA hat on it to kind of throw it off like it's not at us, it's at Trump. And that's what got the glasses on the screen mad. Because they like, oh, why you gonna come at us? And so basically it's like throwing two birds at one stone. I mean, killing two birds with one stone, rather. But the brunt of the burning cross comes to us. Right? Because remember, right? Merlin is trying to convince us that he wasn't thinking about black people when he did that. He wanted to make a statement. He wanted to make a political statement. So he decided to take one of the most racist symbols in American history and use that to make a political statement against MAGA. Make that make sense, y'all. Help me out. I'm not the smartest person in the world, y'all. I was a C student in college, okay? I was a C student in college, so y'all help me out. One of the most recognizable symbols in American history, as far as when it comes to racism, of white people like killing black people. And so Buddy said, I'm going to take that symbol and use that symbol to make a statement against white people, specifically MAGA, the people who would be empowering the Ku Klux Klan. So to make a statement at them, you use a symbol that they would use. I'm confused, Merlin. It don't make sense, Merlin. It don't make sense to me. I'm just saying that don't make sense to me. It doesn't. Because we know what the burning cross means historically. But let me let this play a little more before I get a little deeper.
This guy right here,
apologizing to those who were offended. In the video, he also criticized President Trump.
I don't want to wait till his term ends. I don't want to wait until he may or may not get impeached. I want him gone right now.
The fact that he was able to go home and record this and he did this and a sit-down interview with the news station before he was arrested. Remember that. He did this live stream and an interview before he was arrested. It don't make no sense, Kiki. It don't make no sense. He think we stupid. He's a coward. He's a little coward. That's what he is. Stand on business. If you got beef with us, be a man and say it with your chest, little boy. Don't burn a cross then hide behind the MAGA stuff. Now you got the white people on your neck too.
So what's crazy about this is that this guy, who again is obviously a rabid leftist, by the way, they showed him in high school where he was looking pretty normal playing tennis. I think they overplayed his backhand in that particular sports broadcast.
Exactly. Merlin Liu is a 21-year-old Naperville native.
And Liu rips this forehand shot.
That's him playing tennis at Neuqua Valley High School.
Oh yeah, it was not that fancy. It was not that special. Let's be clear about that. But yeah, this guy is calling for the death, or it at least appears that he's calling for the death of the evil bad orange man, saying he doesn't want to wait for him to be impeached. He doesn't want to wait for this and that. He wants him gone right now. Do you guys understand what he's getting at? And then when he's pressed on it, he ends up saying, no. I was saying that he wanted to stand trial, or something that could be paraphrased into that.
On that video, are you threatening him?
No.
You say that you think that he should be brought to an end.
I said he deserves to stand trial to the American people. Some paraphrase, I guess.
And by paraphrase into that, he means if you just make up what I'm saying now and pretend that that was in the video, and then you go to an alternate universe where I'm not an absolute idiot, then yeah, that's what will be in there. But
well, you and your people got to stand trial along with them, because y'all complied along with the system of white supremacy, so y'all can get more crumbs than we would get, Mr. Crossburner.
For this one, we're just gonna pretend like that's the case. You okay with that, newsman at NBC5? And the NBC5 guy's like, no, I'm not interested in that, Jussie. I mean Merlin Liu. Sorry. Your actions very evocative of Mr. Smollett.
But I think you use the word end.
That's what I mean by end. I mean by end, I don't mean like a civil war. If that is the imagery that you're trying to imagine.
And I don't mean a civil war, by the way. Again, what did I say about him being perfectly aligned with Brandon Johnson? Nobody talks about the Civil War other than Tim Pool more than Brandon Johnson. It's absolutely crazy. It's ridiculous. And again, he's being platformed right here by NBC News 5. Again, credit to them for getting the actual interview, but why is he not behind bars right now? I know eventually he was arrested after coming forward, but do you see how left-wing people who do these kind of things tend to get like softer treatment?
Well, we know for us black folk, it ain't got nothing to do with left wing. Of course, we're looking at this video and Glass is mad and he getting this stuff off. But of course, it ain't got nothing to do with left wing, right wing. We as a people are looked down upon by all of them. Once again, we as a people, as a group of people, as a race of people, black people, we're looked down upon by all of them. Because if Buddy willing to burn the cross like that, that let you know how you feel about us. He had plenty of opportunities to express his political stance long before now. There you go, Kiki. There you go. He think we stupid. Whatever. Because what they say, he's a student at the University of Illinois, Chicago. Well, he ain't that smart. He ain't that smart. All right, he ain't that smart.
from the government. Again, where are the federal charges against this guy so he doesn't get a slap on the wrist? And by the way, is it not embarrassing that this young man ended up ruining his life and his reputation over the fact that he's so Trump deranged that he thought this was the thing to do, make an evil bad hoax because he wants the orange man out of office?
Lou says he built this cross after carrying wooden slats from his near West Side apartment.
And let's be clear, Trump is the red herring.
To Grant Park last Tuesday afternoon. He showed the red ball cap that he'd put on the top beam and used lighter fluid and toilet paper to get it all going.
I put a red hat to signify the MAGA hat, the Make America Great Again.
That was the red herring.
So that was, yeah, that's what I tied on top.
So just in the same way that in the Jussie Smollett case, the Osundaru brothers were not able to actually find a MAGA hat in the city of Chicago, this guy also had to use a red hat to represent the MAGA hat because he couldn't actually find it. And again, this should be quite notable to the people of Chicago that are planning on doing these hoaxes and blaming the evil bad orange man. People are not going to believe that there are all these Trump supporters just waiting to do a racism, hiding around every corner when you can't even get a MAGA hat for the most part in most of the city of Chicago. Again, university kid living probably amongst other university students, completely inept in his ability to acquire that. I'm assuming he didn't want to order it online because he thought it would have been a red flag. So in person, he had to get this MAGA hat that didn't even have the letters on it. It was just a red hat. And this was supposed to be a symbol. Again, not something that was supposed to be framing Trump supporters. No, absolutely not. Just about the Christian nationalism or whatever. That's the ticket, right? That's what we're gonna go with.
Lou says he was protesting what he calls MAGA Christian nationalist supporters and the Trump administration ruling.
Hey, yeah, I feel you be nice. Yeah, letting them know he down too. Secretly letting them know he down too, but it might have backfired on him, or it may not. Or this white dude glasses might be playing dumb too. But you know, it definitely was a shot towards us. Definitely was a negative shot towards us.
Class.
He's just scamming people. We're just scamming out of money, right? And I think that's a great reflection of how this country works right now, where money controls everything. Money has power over healthcare. Money has power over transportation.
You know what we need to see, by the way? We need an FBI forensic analysis of this kid's computer so that we can actually look into his search history, because I guarantee you he was very likely looking up other mechanisms for a hoax and how to get away with it. And again, this was not some performance art went awry. This was an arson. This was dangerous. And it was also a fake hate crime.
Like, to me, this issue is bigger than just myself.
Did you make it?
Now, to him, it's a fake hate crime. To him, it's a fake hate crime. It ain't fake to us. And that's why I chose this video, because I was like, this is going to be an interesting perspective from this guy, because, you know, he's coming from that right-wing perspective. And they pissed at this guy too. But remember, to us, it's not a fake hate crime.
All the way through almost 4 years at UIC without somebody teaching you that a burning cross is one of the most divisive symbols in America?
No, I don't really have any, like, I never grew up with religion, never really surrounded myself with people with it. My childhood friends, I remember them going to, like, confirmation and stuff like that, but
no, it's a symbol of the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, that really is where it started. Nobody ever taught you that. You never read it in a history book. Nobody.
No. I just saw the Wikipedia page with the movie with the, like, I think it's called, like, Under One Nation or something like that.
So I love the fact that the local news reporter asked him straight up how he made it through 4 years of university in the United States of America without learning that a burning cross is one of the more divisive symbols in the United States of America. And he gives an incoherent, idiotic response to that about how he didn't grow up around religious people. And then eventually, after being pressed, he ends up saying, I knew it was from that one movie and Wikipedia, Under One Nation. First of all, it's called Birth of the Nation. Again, D.W. Griffith Griffith.
Yeah, he
He's
playing
actually
dumb.
somebody who invented a lot of the techniques that we use in modern filmmaking, including cross-cutting, which, by the way, if you guys are unaware, is when you cut between two scenes at different locations, and that gives you the impression in your brain that they're occurring at the same time. So this guy was revolutionary in terms of filmmaking, and yeah, this is the guy who came up with the burning cross thing as a symbol for the Klan, and it was actually taken from the movie and brought into real life. And this guy says he read the Wikipedia page on it, and again,
Hey, Kiki, he think we stupid. He a collegiate dummy. He a collegiate dummy. I'm gonna let this dude finish talking. I'm gonna say my piece. I'm gonna let Killer Mike cry, and then we're gonna play the interview.
I will ask you guys, if he was not planning on doing a hoax, why would he be looking up the meaning of the burning cross? If again, he just came up with this randomly, if it was about Christian nationalism and the Trump administration and not about a fake hate crime hoax, how does this story make sense? The answer is that it doesn't make sense, much in the same way that his explanation of money, something, Trump elites, blah, 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 is also incoherent and stupid.
Was it a hate crime?
No, for sure not. In no way possible was that a hate crime. I do understand why it was interpreted that way, and I apologize for that, but no, the intent was not there.
Yeah, it was a hate crime hoax,
Yes,
aka a hate crime against white people, also a politically motivated.
Either way, anybody can look at it. It's a hate crime. Either group, all groups are offended equally. Of course, well, all groups are not offended equally. I'll take that back. Of course, it's more to us because of the deep history of it, but all groups are offended by it. It's a hate crime to everybody. It's a deep-seated hate crime with us. And remember, this is off the heels of a Chinese man getting off for hunting down and killing a young black boy, a 14-year-old. You're getting off of that. This is on the heels of all the turmoil that is happening between the blacks and the Asians. That's been happening over the last probably 6 to 8 years. Even the passing of the Asian hate crime bill, when they made it seem like black people were attacking them. And when you went back and look at the statistics, it was more white people attacking the Asians than black people, but it made it seem like it was the black people. We became the face of the reason behind the Asian hate crime bill. Asians have been aligning themselves with white people and mistreating black people since they got here. Especially the second wave of Asians. And I think the second wave of Asians came in the 1960s. The first wave of Asians came in like the 1850s, 1860s. Then you had the second wave in like the 1960s. What's the young lady, Latasha Harlins, that was taken out by the Asian guy years like in the 90s? Like, it's been a lot of turmoil between the blacks and the Asians. We did the video on the wedge theory. Asians admitting that they chose white proximity over justice. They chose white proximity over justice. Miss me with all this other stuff, right? Dude knew what he was doing. He understands the strife and the turmoil between blacks and Asians.
Crime against, again, Trump supporters, who he obviously has a problem with, Christians as well. So yeah, the question right there at the end, not the best. They should have pressed him on this. This is obviously a Jussie Smollett type of incident, or at least that's what I think it is. As of right now, because he's not convicted, you could say that those are just allegations and not facts, as the super mayor would say.
False allegations and not facts.
But the fact is, in my opinion, it is ridiculous that this guy is this woke, this left-wing. Again, he's a communist, obviously obsessed with Trump in a ridiculous way, and he had no idea that a burning cross, after looking up Birth of a Nation on Wikipedia, was a racist symbol tied to the Klan, and again, attaching the MAGA hat to it so people could see it, although it was just a red hat because he couldn't find a MAGA hat in the city of Chicago, obviously indicative of where he was coming from. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like this video, you can show me by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias. You can support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about an Asian person doing a hate hoax, pulling a Smollett. Till next time.
And I'd bring it back just a little bit. All right. So before we get into, because like I told you, I have the full interview. Before we get into the full interview, let's do a little critical thinking on our end, right? Because a cross burning is not a neutral symbol. Because we know what the cross burning means historically. The cross burning historically means white power, white supremacy, white domination. We'll come to take you out, take everything, burn it down, dominate you, right? It's a symbol of terror used by the KKK. It's connected. It is the birth of it comes from white supremacy. When black people see it, black people know, historically, black people knew when they saw that symbol, two things. You got to fight back or you got to get out of town. You got to fight back or you get out of town when you see that burning cross. You said, I could give y'all so much uncharted by mainstream scholars, anti-black alignment within the traditional martial arts program. I used to write on that. I called the Caucasian Asian Connect. Hey, man, it's real. Like, it's been a fake alliance between blacks and Asians. I hate when black people will be cool with one or two Asians, then think all Asians are cool because they cool with one or two. Or they go to the nail shop in Maylene, do their nails good, and now they think everybody cool, but not really realizing, like, as a group, they don't mess with us like that. Right? Remember now, cross burnings happened before lynchings. Once again, you either had to fight back or get out of town because something was finna happen to somebody when you saw a cross burn. That means white people's feelings was hurt. It was an intimidation tactic. Remember that. It was an intimidation tactic, Merlin Lou. It was to threaten anybody who stood up against white supremacy. So is this a threat to anybody who's standing up against Asians? Is this a threat to somebody standing up to Asians? Merlin Lou. And once again, when you saw that cross burning, a lot of black people had to escape in the middle of the night. We have plenty stories about black people going north, having to escape in the middle of the night for standing up for themselves because they saw the burning cross. For generations in America, historically, burning crosses communicated, we are watching you leave and you are not safe here. That's why the burning of the cross is seen as a hate crime because of all the terror attached to the burning cross. Think about how much terror is attached to it. And then Merlin Lou comes out and uses this symbol and he figured, I'm gonna just put a hat on it. And if I put the hat on it, people not gonna think it's toward black people. Boy, stop. There you go, riding Black History coattails. They are not our friends. Dr. Clark told us every group that had a chance to take advantage of us did. Every group, and there's no exception. We feel that way about most races because of our desire. Yes, be nice. Yes, be nice. Yes, be nice. Our sick desire to be accepted by everybody because we hate ourselves. We don't like ourselves. Going back to the discussion on our Wednesday Night Live when we were talking about the level of hopelessness in the majority of Black America. If we didn't have a level of hopelessness in Black America, we wouldn't have a desire to be accepted by everybody but ourselves. The results are there. The results are there. And remember, ignorance does not excuse harm. And we all know he's not ignorant, but let's just play along with him. Ignorance does not excuse harm. Because he said he knew the history, but didn't understand the severity of the symbol. But once again, he said he looked it up and he saw it from the movie Birth of a Nation. He Wikipedia Birth of a Nation. I'm sure he can read. Questions for you all. How much responsibility do people have to understand the symbols they use? Because overall, this is about people attempting to control power symbols, identity, and self-determination. Other people attempting to control black power, black symbolism, black identity, and black self-determination. He's going to rewrite the history and the narratives around these burning crosses to fit his narrative. Merlin Lou think he's slick. Merlin Lou think he is going to rewrite the narrative and rewrite the history, rewrite the hurt, rewrite the trauma around the cross burning. Really? Really, Merlin? Really? Can somebody accidentally commit racial intimidation? I don't think you can accidentally do it. I think it's intentional. I think all hate crimes are well thought out. Asians have literally built the tactical applications we see police, government agents using on daily. I think, yeah, a lot of that. I think somebody was telling me like the Jeet Kune Do. I think you and I were talking about the Jeet Kune Do being used by the police. Cops don't use Western boxing. They use, Jeet. There you go, Jeet Kune Do. Yep. That dude knew what he did. It was the it was the Asian arms of the Ku Klux Klan. And I think he was going back to one of B Nice's comments. He was letting white people know that he was down with them. He was letting white people know that he down to bang on the blackest too. He was letting other Asians and white people know that he was down to bang on the blacks. It was so many other things that he could have done to protest the right and Donald Trump, but he chose the burning cross, right? So I want y'all check this out. This is Killer Mike's reaction in relation to the Rick Child case, because this related to this, because he's talking about the relationship between blacks and Asians, and it even brought him to tears. But it's also his ignorance of racism and white supremacy. So check this out. Hold on.
I'm at a point now where I'm just like, enough. We can't with y'all. Y'all don't with us, and it's obvious. Ought not to with each other.
My first question, I'm stopping early. I don't mean to stop so early. My first question for Killer Mike, because he's supposed to be an activist, a leader, whatever. Historically, in your words, historically, when did Asians ever really F with us? Like for real. Like, when did the mass of Asians really F with us, Killer Mike? Because he's all emotional and crying, and like, man, I thought y'all used to F with us. Well, when did they really F with us like that? Come on, Killer Mike. Well, I want to start it over. Let me start it over. And shout out to African Diaspora Network for showing this.
So Killer Mike was speaking about.
Hello, I went back too far.
Ridiculous. Check this out.
I'm at a point now where I'm just like, enough. We can't with y'all. Y'all don't with us, and it's obvious. And we are put in a position by a bigger master to be taught not to with each other. So you, as the model minority, always see us as beneath you, and yet you need us because you could never put a store in the master class's neighborhood. And if we won't unite against them,
we won't unite for ourselves.
Yeah, but if we won't unite, I mean, the Asians and black against the master class, then we can no longer with y'all.
When did we ever unite? When did we ever unite? Man, dry your tears up. Stop all that damn crying and dry your tears up. You're supposed to be knowledgeable. You're supposed to be educated. You going around telling people that Dr. Wade Nobles is your mentor. If I was Dr. Wade Nobles, I'd throw a biscuit at you. Why are you going around crying? You talk about Dr. John Henry Clark in your raps. Why are you crying? There was never a real relationship between blacks and Asians in America. Never. Dry your dang on tears up and stop crying. Act like a man. Act like you actually know what's going on. What are you doing? There was never a real relationship. When in American history has it ever been a real relationship between blacks and Asians? So that big is upset because he had talk all that boycott crap. Now he got into now he got choose between be serious or go without chains, wangs, and noodles. Yeah, right. I'm just saying. It's plenty. Well, I ain't gonna say it's plenty, but there are black grocery stores. There are black people selling products. He need to cry. He need to stop this or put a skirt on.
Because it's just not working. It's not working where you can hunt down a child and they let you get away with it 2 times in my lifetime.
Now, if you go look at the case,
I don't know about y'all, but that's sad. That's sad to see a grown man so ignorant and so emotional, but so ignorant. But it's out touting himself as a leader, out positioning himself as a leader, and you don't even understand you don't even know who your real allies are. But you always yelling at people. You're always telling black people, we ain't ready for this and we ain't ready for that. You ain't ready. Sit your butt down. The video that I put out yesterday about the leaders, the black leaders. If somebody got money, somebody got a name, somebody got fame, black people will follow them. I saw that and he made me lose a lot more respect for him. The little bit of respect that I had, yeah, I lost that. That's probably a smidget of respect left for him, maybe. I always knew Killer Mike didn't get it. I always knew he wasn't on point. I always knew he wasn't really, I never thought he was really studied. And it's coming out more and more and more. I'm telling you, man, I get a feeling. When I get that feeling about some people over time, that feeling turns out to be true. And I be like, I ain't being no hater, but that's a faker. I know a real one by their actions and outcomes, not by their words. Said Bruce Lee showed us exactly where they stood in real life and movies. And Enter the Dragon, he didn't say one word to Jim Kelly. In that movie, Jim showed in that film, we are, yeah. Well, see, I didn't even pay attention that he didn't say one word to Jim Kelly. And I ain't gonna lie, in Enter the Dragon, I was a lot more paying attention to Jim Kelly than Bruce Lee. And then I never completed watching Enter the Dragon because after Jim Kelly, I believe Jim Kelly died. And after Jim Kelly died, I usually turn it. Because Jim Kelly he caught my attention way more than Bruce Lee did. And kind of find out there were a lot of black martial artists who was way better than Bruce Lee as well. So yeah, but that was Killer Mike embarrassing himself once again, making us look bad too, because he don't understand the history. But that's tied into the ignorance about the actual relationship between blacks and Asians, right? Because if there was an actual good relationship between blacks and Asians, we wouldn't be here with this dude burning crosses. I forgot his name already. Merlin Lou. We wouldn't be here with Merlin Lou burning crosses, right? I believe Merlin Lou fully understood the symbol and he fully understood the emotional power behind it. I believe he did. I believe he did. I believe he did his research. Right. But also it's falling into the realm of attention economics, right? People increasingly use shocking imagery because ordinary protest no longer attracts attention. But what attention was he trying to get? Was he really trying to get the attention of the MAGA in a way of saying I'm against MAGA, or was he trying to get the attention of MAGA, say I'm down with, well, basically saying we both banging on the same fools out here. We both banging on black people out here. Because why not set a white person on fire? Why not set a doll of a white person on fire or something like that? If your target is white MAGA, white supremacy, white MAGA. Hey, BG, you crazy. If your target is white MAGA, why use a symbol that historically is a symbol of terror to black people? But that's why we have to know our history. We have to know our history. We have to preserve our history. And we have to pass it down. Because if we don't know, then other people can misuse our history. They can redefine our history and they can minimize our history. Things he's trying to do. Reuse it, minimize it, and redefine it for his protest against MAGA. The fuck out of here, man. Yeah, he was songwriter Sonny. You're right. He was trying to frame it as if a white supremacist did it, or that it was his protest against white supremacy. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, because you would have used something else. You would have used something else. But he also knew that that would get his attention. He also knew that that would get people's attention too. So now let's look at the interview. Let's look at the sit-down interview with him before we get to the next topic.
Like this video, you can show me by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias. You can support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about an Asian person doing a hate hoax, pulling a Smollett. Till next time.
Tonight we're going to begin with that NBC 5 News investigates exclusive. This was the
Tether Hunter. I'm just saying.
The startling and offensive scene in Grant Park last Tuesday. A burning cross, a symbol for centuries that has represented racism and hatred. For just about a week now, Chicago police and the FBI have been trying to identify a man who is suspected of setting up this cross and torching it. Well, tonight, the NBC Chicago investigative team has now ID'd a 21-year-old college senior who says he is the person in this photo and describes why he did it. To our investigative reporter, Chuck Gowdy, who has interviewed the man behind the burning cross and tonight has this exclusive story.
Until right now, the young shirtless man running from a burning cross in Grant Park, person of interest in a Chicago police arson investigation and subject of a possible FBI hate crime case. NBC 5 Investigates has now interviewed the man who admits burning the cross. University of Illinois Chicago senior Merlin Lou says he knew the implications of a burning cross and had placed a MAGA hat atop the cross, explaining his motivation was to protest Trump administration injustice, not something racist.
How did you land on a burning cross?
It came up to my head one day. I wanted to find something that I could do by myself, like no organization, no friends, no. I did know about this.
But you didn't have to use a cross. You didn't have to use a cross to come up with something by yourself. People do stuff all the time by themselves. Merlin, you need your ass whooped.
This historical relevance beforehand, but I didn't know the severity. How
I bet you his real Asian name is full of shit. Full of shit Lou. And he came to America and decided to change his name to Merlin. And Merlin just another magical name for full of shit. Full of shit Lou is his real name. And he decided to change it to Merlin to try to be some magical motherfucker. See, he just started to make me cuss. Hey, look, Tether Hunter, I am with you. So, and the white guy basically told him he's not white, and white people been telling all these people. White people been telling all these all these knee-living belly crawlers that they not welcome, that they just pets, they mercenary pets, and they keep doing this stuff though. I'm pretty sure he knows that what that burning means. Yeah, he does. He think we dumb. Those other groups aren't accepted by whites, right? But that's my problem. Be nice. That's my problem with us as black people. We know those other groups are not accepted by whites. They know they're not accepted by whites, but we accept everybody. We open our arms to everybody, and everybody comes in and takes a dump on us. They open their little crusty cheeks up and take full dumps on us, and we continue to open our arms up to these people. Why is Killer Mike crying? Where's the history of true love between blacks and Asians? And he got his old self up there crying. Sit your butt down. I can't listen to him. I can't listen to him the same no more. I can't even listen to his music the same no more. He said that on fire and took off screaming. Look at his demeanor while the white reporter speaks to him compared to how sneaky he was with the black reporter that spoke to him. Right. Hey, they know who their masters are. They know who their masters are.
Motivated it may seem from what I did, because my protest has nothing to do with race, nothing to do with gender.
Should you have done it some other way?
Yeah, probably.
Merlin Liu is a 21-year-old Naperville native.
And Liu rips this forehand shot.
That's him playing tennis at Neuqua Valley High School, where he was graduated in 2022. Last week, Liu sent this scripted video to NBC, claiming responsibility for the cross burning, but saying he had no affiliation with the Ku Klux Klan, apologizing to those who were offended. In the video, he also criticized President Trump.
I don't want to wait.
Right, Tother, huh?
I don't want to wait until he may or may not get impeached. I want him gone right now.
On that video, are you threatening him?
No.
You say that you think that he should be brought to an end.
He old punk.
I said
stand by your word, punk.
He deserves to stand trial to the American people. Some paraphrasing.
And I'm not.
I think you use the word.
And I'm not calling him a punk by his sexuality. I'm calling him a punk because he's soft and he ain't willing to stand by his word. You soft because that was aimed at black people and you know it. And in your Trump rant, you know you going at Trump and you know what you're saying at Trump, but you scared now. You soft. And these are the people that Killer Mike crying for. These are the people that got Killer Mike big self out here crying. Come on, man.
That's what I mean by end. I mean by end, I don't mean like a civil war. If that is the imagery that you're trying to imagine.
Liu says he built this cross after carrying wooden slats from his near West Side apartment to Grant Park last Tuesday afternoon. He showed the red ball cap that he put on the top beam and used lighter fluid and toilet paper to get it all going.
I put a red hat to signify the MAGA hat, the Make America Great Again hat. So that was, yeah, that's what I tied on top.
But that's not visible in the one video that was taken by a motorist.
Liu says he was protesting what he calls MAGA Christian nationalist supporters and the Trump administration ruling class.
We're just scamming people. We're just scamming out of money, right? And I think that's a great reflection of how this country works right now, where money controls everything. Money has power over.
They learning the hard way.
Money has power over transportation.
Chicago police and the FBI have been trying to identify him ever since, putting out this flyer with pictures of him running away. CPD labeling it an arson.
Are you surprised nobody's identified you to this point?
Yeah, you're right, songwriter son. He mad white people on his ass. Like I say, he offended everybody with this. When white people are on his ass, now he like, oh shoot. Because if it was just black people, he wouldn't. He haven't even addressed that. He just worried about the white backlash. He's not even worried about black backlash. He's worried about white backlash.
And
a little bit.
Called them?
A little bit. But to me, that's not that important. Right. I don't really, like, to me, this issue is bigger than just myself.
Did you make it all the way through almost 4 years at UIC without somebody teaching you that a burning cross is one of the most divisive symbols in America?
No, I didn't. I don't really have any, like, I never grew up with religion, never really surrounded myself with people with it. My childhood friends, they I remember them going to like confirmation and stuff like that, but no,
it's a symbol of the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, that really is where it started. Nobody ever taught you that. You never read it in a history book. Nobody.
No. I just saw the Wikipedia page with the movie with the, like, I think it's called like Under One Nation or something like that.
Under One Nation.
The Birth of a Nation is a famous 1915 silent film that romanticized the KKK and showed a cross burning.
Was it a hate crime?
No, for sure not. In no way possible was that a hate crime.
Yes,
I do understand why it was interpreted that way, and I apologize for that, but no, the intent was not there.
The FBI and Chicago police will determine that and what charges may be filed against the man who admits the cross burning. Authorities have not reported anything new in this case. Lou says his parents are encouraging him to surrender and that they offered to provide an attorney, but he said no. He told me he's thinking of turning himself in, something he won't have to worry about if police arrive first.
They got him. They got him. They got him. He has been arrested and charged with hate crimes. So they definitely got his ass. But yeah, he's full of it. He's a liar. He's a coward. He's not willing to stand by his work. If it was against MAGA, you could have brought a Donald Trump and burnt the Donald Trump. Like we see people who hate Donald Trump all the time. Like we've seen whole parades of people building like Donald Trump stuff and beating it up and running it over and all that stuff there. You could have did that. There's so many. You could have burned the Donald Trump shirt. You could have just found a MAGA hat offline. There's so many things you could have done. But to burn a cross and then to try to act like, oh nah, this is my protest against Trump. How does the cross negatively affect Trump or even have anything to do with Trump? Like, how does that make Trump feel bad? Now, me personally, it don't make me feel bad, but you got to understand why black people feel the way they feel, Merlin Lou. Oh, my bad. You too smart to understand that. Or is it that you too dumb? Yeah, man. He's playing the dumb game too. He gonna get the Myron Gaines treatment. He gonna get the same treatment as Myron Gaines. All right, so let's transition, since we're talking about the way people treat us, the way people see us, the way people look at us, the way people view black people. This is an interesting conversation. I don't remember the name of these brothers. I'm gonna try to find the name of their YouTube channel, but these are when I was doing the Malachi Z. York story, I think that's when I came across these brothers. But these brothers come from the camp of Malachi Z. York, and they're having a conversation with a white guy about the origins of white people. And then that conversation, it's not the Hodge twins. It's not the Hodge twins. You're gonna see it when I put it up. But these guys were talking about the origins of white people, and then the white guy goes into asking them, and they're having a debate about why he can't use the N word, and he really wants to use it. So y'all might know who these guys are. I can't remember their name. I'm gonna try to find the channel. Oh, OSM Vision is the name of the YouTube channel, but
why can I not say the N word?
Not even be specific.
No, that's a real thing. Why am I not held to a lesser standard of language than you?
Who told you that you call OSM Vision? Let me see. Let me bring up the YouTube channel real quick, because this is them. Yeah, OSM Vision. That's the name of the YouTube channel. So I'm not too familiar with these guys, but I know they come from the camp of Malachi Z. York. But yeah. Nah. The red pill and blue pill. I believe let me not be messy, but red pill and blue pill definitely different from these guys. Definitely different from these guys. I'm just not coming into knowledge about these guys. I've watched red pill and blue pill from back in the days. Them boys, those men have been around since my early days of getting into the knowledge on YouTube. So I'm not really sure about these guys. They probably been around too, but let's indulge. Let's indulge.
I'll say, will you give me permission now to
No.
say the N-word?
No.
No, why not? Why can I not
What's
now
his name,
say the
Mason?
N-word?
Joseph.
Because I want to.
We are not religious.
Because I want to.
Joseph, listen. We're not religious people.
I really want to.
Joseph,
Okay,
listen.
all right.
We're not religious people. If you came to attack us, we would not watch you and turn the other cheek. We would deal with you accordingly. We would
Okay.
reinforce with force.
Yeah. Okay, hello, my name is Joseph. I go by Kum online. I suppose my question to you would be, is Wusabat ontologically true?
Yes, it is. When you talk about, what do you know about, use that word?
Okay, so not to keep pausing, but just give a little context. OSM means Our Souls Matter. These gentlemen are out of the UK. These gentlemen from I think there are some Africans that settled in the UK, because I'm on their website right now. Our Souls Matter, because the website is I thought it was a UK website, but yeah, these brothers based out of the UK. They not New Yorkers. Nah, they old Yorkers. That's old York, not New York. Old York.
Ontologically, what do you know about ontology?
Oh, do I know what the word means?
No, yeah.
No.
What? Oh, so why do you use that term? Where do you get that term?
I think it means very.
Very.
Yeah, so it's like very true.
Very true.
Yeah.
So to use that term, I would have thought that you'd have some type of understanding of the word ontology.
Very possible. It's very possible. So it's generally true, and it's a non-religious but workable philosophy.
Yeah, when you talk about ontology, you talk about the study of nature and the forces of nature. So when you say, is it ontologically true? The answer is yes, it is. You know.
Okay. And is it fully workable? Is it like a workable philosophy?
It's not even a philosophy. You know, it's the way of life and living. So it's not a philosophy. You know, the forces that grew existence is called Musabat or Wunawap. You follow? The 9 etheric forces. So yes, we do acknowledge the forces of natural nature. That's why we call it.
So they're talking about what they believe helped create the earth, the universe, the world we live in, white men, black men, all these things. So they're saying from their beliefs, for what they've learned, how all of creation and existence got to what it is.
That's why we also refer to ourselves as.
I'm just saying.
That's the right. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So I'm just trying to get a quick framework in my mind.
Okay.
So it's
it's not just one thing. So that's a part of it.
This is leading to like my main thing.
Yeah.
So it's ontologically true. It's ontologically workable, and it's ontologically fact-based. These are like the 3 guiding principles that I generally understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what I'm saying is there's stuff outside that. As well.
No, definitely. So I suppose utilizing those 3 principles, can you please tell me now who invented white people?
Okay. Yeah, the Palladians.
Just when they get into the pseudoscience.
Okay.
And draconians. Yeah, but again, when you say white people, we have to be clear who you're talking about, because the term is very generic. There are different types of what you're calling white people and species as well. So people.
But I think you do know what I mean.
But we have to be clear for the audience, because for the audience, they might look at white people as everyone.
Well, just to clarify earlier.
Yeah, Sonny, they look. They look like something from Mardi Gras. But look, I understand. So when I first started learning about Black history, Black consciousness, Black everything, when I started learning, I was introduced to circles, what we call reasoning circles. And in these reasoning circles, I was exposed to a lot of information in what people would call pseudoscience. Because of course we have no real evidence to back it up, and none of this stuff holds weight under the scientific method. And people are like, well, that's the white man's, even it don't hold weight against nobody's scientific method, right? Now, a lot of things that they taught us was that white people were a separate species of being. Now, nature tells us that two separate species cannot create life that is fertile. When a lion and a tiger comes together, they will make a liger or a tiger. That liger or a tiger is sterile. That's nature's way of saying, hell nah, we ain't doing this. This is not happening because this defies the laws of nature. So the two different species can produce an offspring, but that offspring will not be fertile. And when that offspring dies, that's it. The fact that black people and white people can come together and make babies that are fertile. Barack Obama, Malcolm X is a product of interracial relationships. I am a product down the line of interracial relationships. Bob Marley, like so many black people are products of interracial relationships, either directly or down the line. So we already know that white people are not a separate species of human. But of course, a lot of this pseudoscience came out because it was a part of the positive propaganda they were teaching black people, especially in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, to get us to have more self-esteem about ourselves. But they never told us that this stuff ain't true, because black people and white people can get together and make babies. This is pseudoscience that they're teaching. They're trying to tell us that some big-headed scientist named Yakub came and created white people and okay, whatever to make yourselves feel better. But none of that stuff helps us to become more powerful. But yeah, you own it, my brother. But let's let him continue. Hey, and Sonny, he do need to stop all that goddamn hissing, man. Just say your words. He do need to stop all that damn hissing.
Earlier, you clarified that I was, in fact, not fully human, but to some degree, genetically sequenced, similar to like a jackal and a pig. So who did that? Who made that entity?
He's going to answer you.
Okay, thank you.
When you look at the word white, yeah, that was coined at a later stage. But the word that's being used for the creation stories in your biblical accounts is Adam, right? But the word Adam is not related.
I don't like this answer, by the way.
It doesn't matter whether you like it or not.
No,
it's a fact. Because I'm trying to explain to you.
Can you answer the question?
You ask the question, but you don't listen for the answer.
No, you're giving the entire cosmology.
No,
I don't need the entire cosmology.
I'm not giving you the entire cosmology. I'm giving you that.
Well, I think it happened 6,000 years ago. So can you begin there with the
6,000 years ago was the gravitation of the Adamites.
That's what we're talking about.
This is what I'm trying to
and what you actually know I'm talking about too. So
if you let me finish.
Well, then please be good faith and answer my questions in a good faith.
You can't ask me a question and expect me to give you the answer you want to hear. You have to be able to listen.
I expect good faith.
But let me finish.
Okay.
Right. So in your Bible, when they're referring to the Adam story, it's talking about the Adamites, which were grafted by beings that came from Taurus, right? Who most know as the Pleiades, yeah? From the Pleiades star constellation. That's different from the Adams before that, where you have 8,400 years ago.
Lore. I can't do the cosmology.
8,400 years ago, you had another group of...
And that's all that stuff sound good, but they never have any concrete evidence to prove it. They never have any this was a poor attempt at black supremacy. This is trying to become powerful with no power. I'm gonna convince us that we are a higher species of people. We were trying to be supremacists with no power. That's what a lot of this come out of. Black people, not for one, trying to be supremacists with no power, and two, black people finding an easy way to scam other black people. Because remember, you still got people out here talking about they sovereign citizens, going into courtrooms, talking about they don't have no contract with the corporation of the United States. People, this pseudoscience lane became a big scamming lane for black people.
Who people may call white, but they were known as the Flugerods. So there's 8,400 years ago.
But I clarified what I meant. I clarified what I meant. I don't know what you're saying.
6,000 years. I'm just giving you so we can put it into context. The 6,000 years ago, is what we're referring to when we say the Adamites, which would be that gravitation that most people on the planet that people refer to as white are coming from.
Yeah.
Now let me add a little bit more, because you have quite going on about the pig and all of this kind of stuff. These were character traits that was put in the Adamites, for certain purposes.
By who?
By these extraterrestrials, these Pleiadians.
By who in particular, though?
The Arcturians, beings that they grafted this Adamite race.
Oh, so
grafted.
So I'm wrong. It wasn't one singular person.
No, it's genetics. No, it's genetics.
It wasn't an evil scientist named Yakub.
No,
that's the one.
But you know that's what I'm talking about.
I didn't know that.
We didn't know that.
Okay.
That's why I tried to give you the two separate ones.
Then start
so
there,
that
please.
you won't miss.
So you want the
fluke? You
want the Yakub story?
Yes, please.
Right.
That's a different question.
That's a different question. The Yakub story, they were grafted from the Dravidians. The Dravidians were people that obviously, were living in India and other places. So they resided in an area known as Mesopotamia. And Yakub took these particular Dravidians and utilized eugenics, as it were, and literally phased out the genes to the point where the flugorods, because what they were doing is that they were extracting
the flugorods.
Yeah, they were extracting.
What are the flugorods?
The halabeans. In the German, they would be called the hulub or the halabeans. Okay, this
you know what?
Also.
Let's say let's play a game. Let's say all of this stuff these gentlemen are saying is true. Let's just play a game for fun. Let's say all of this is true. Why should we know it? Why should we know this information? How does this information help us not be oppressed by white supremacy? How does this information help us replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice? Because let's just say for fun's sake that what they're saying is true with all these different groups of beings and all this stuff here. It hasn't helped us improve our position. So why should we care about some aliens? How has that helped us? How can we get better? How can we get more powerful? How can we replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice with the help of these so-called aliens? How and when and where? If it is true, just to play with it, if it is true, so how is it advantageous to us? Why should we know it? Should we know it just to say I know information, or should we know it because there's a way to use this information to help us? And Sonny, you saying by being honest, you're replying to what when you're saying by being honest, just so I can make sure I know what you're saying.
I know them as the Cro-Magnon. You understand? So what happened was they extracted out the seed of the Dravidians, the evil nature. The evil nature that was extracted from them became your flugorods.
Okay, my flugorods.
Which was your 8,400 years ago.
Okay.
Okay? They then resided in the mountains, what's it called? Doronkuya mountains in Turkey. Okay, the Asian Sea. Are you following?
I think I get you fully now.
So Yakub was a being that was a product of.
No, but again, I'm not asking for the full lore. I'm just kind of clarifying.
I'm trying to get to why he decided to do that gravitation.
But that's not my question, though.
Okay. So you don't.
My question was who invented white people? As that term is commonly understood.
White people, and we're trying to tell you there's a differentiation.
As that term is commonly understood by 99.9% of the human population. That's what I'm talking about.
So we're correcting.
Obviously,
we're here to correct.
Just like you can refer to people as black people, but they're different types of black people.
Okay.
Right. So we're making sure you are clearly.
Okay.
When you walk out
the clarity that Yakub was a product of the Danakil and the Teros. And he was teased because he had a big head, because he had two brains, and he went about trying to create a being that was weak and wicked to prove that he was God, and he created the flugorods.
Okay.
Then you had the Caucasians, then mixed with the flugorods.
I'm not being rude. I don't want the lore. the lore is not relative to like my question.
Okay.
I'm getting the.
Have you got the answer to your question?
Yeah, I know that Yakub invented white people as I understand the term.
Right. Okay. But this is not just for you; it's for the whole audience.
And this was, I think, a very straightforward question that I get from you. You know.
But we're
I
talking to the audience as well.
We're talking to the world, so they also need to know things that you may already know. Like
Okay, but like I'm asking you questions.
Can we move to the next question?
No, well, I suppose.
Okay.
Okay. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. So thank y'all for the comments. I appreciate that, Sonny. You're saying, well, there's knowing something and also not knowing something, but there's knowing something because there's being afforded to let you know. So I get that. And that there's a place for that. There is a place for that. So I would never deny there's a place for that. But I'm thinking in more practical terms as well, though. Because my new framework of education is education helps you solve your problems. Education helps you solve real world problems, things that are in front of you. And so I know about the Draconians, I know about the Dravidians, I know about the Greys, I know about that. So can we call them down here to help us jump the white people or something like that? You know, that's how I'll be thinking. Because I remember like back in the days, like 15 years ago when I used to be watching Delbert Blair. I used to be heavy on that Delbert Blair. I used to be heavy on Bobby Hemmett. I used to be heavy on Dr. Phil Valentine. I used to watch some Brother Polite and all. You know, I was heavy on the pseudo stuff. I was into it because it was interesting. I never thought it was real, but it was interesting. And just listening to what they were saying, but also at the end of the day, after years of listening to it and still looking at us and our position and everything, I was like, how does this information practically help us though? Because I think we should focus more on real practical information and then go into the other stuff. But that's just me. I'm not saying I'm right, but I would rather answers to my problems rather than just information to have it. That's where I'm at. So, and yeah, it does give you a way to think, but if we don't know how to think practical to solve our solutions, to solve our problems in front of us, then that in itself is distraction. So, but I love it though. I love it. I love that we here thinking though. I love that we here thinking though. You know, I think info is always good. It can be applied both positive and negative, how propaganda is used. Yeah, but yes. But I think one of the things that I'm failing to say as well is information without systems, information without institutions, information without plans, information without frameworks and networks and unity and all and aggregation together and us working together. Information without that is just, you know, frivolous information. It's like potential energy. And I think if we had a better way of utilizing the information, then there's a better way that information can become powerful, if that makes sense.
So this is actually, this is the setup to the first question.
Okay.
So yeah, things are going very well so far.
Okay.
So since, again, going back to the original premise, Wu Sabat is ontologically true, fact-based, and completely correct all the time, always rational. What would an irrational explanation be for why white people exist? Can you give me an example? What would be an irrational explanation?
Irrational. Well, we have to start off with the irrational one. The rational one is there was a purpose, which is what I was trying to get to, that they were created to basically be food for these beings from Pleiades that were being eaten, and they wanted a replacement so that they wouldn't be eaten. So they made a deal with these reptilian draconians to provide them
reptiles
with
too,
with a food source. Some are, yes.
Bro, the lore is like more complex than like Evangelion. Like, I feel like I'm like, well, like listening to like a sci-fi anime. Like, who are the reptiles? Am I reptilian?
No, you are a reptilian. We all partly reptilian.
Okay.
Because you live in water, you breathe in water, because air is water. Right?
Okay.
And you have to have a bath or drink water.
Polite yelling at you, telling you that was confirmation for you that you should go ahead and do that, because we all know what he turned out to be. And Brother Polite was selling sovereign citizenship. You got to be crazy as hell to think that you can buy sovereignty. That brother was selling sovereign citizenship. Brother Polite made a lot of money selling sovereign citizenship. You know how crazy you got to be to think you can buy sovereignty? That's why, like, we're gonna cover one of these sovereign citizens videos one of these days, and we're gonna break this stuff down because this is crazy. We fall for anything. You can't buy sovereignty. Yeah, Brother Polite yelling at you was confirmation that you were doing something right. Yeah. You say we keep falling for metaphysics because that was our diet for so long. We literally wish it was true, the calming power or something to call upon. Right. But that's why I go back to the Haitian Revolution was a great example of the metaphysics and real life coming together in one. Because it wasn't just I believe, it was I believe, and I'm gonna use this practical stuff in front of me, and we're gonna go ahead and bust some heads wide open. They mix the metaphysical with real life. We keep forgetting to do that. We just want to stick with the metaphysical stuff. No, you got to mix the metaphysical with real life. That's the power of martial arts too. That's why we need more martial arts science. We need more. So I like the other day when we were talking about having the veterans teach the YNs, having the veterans be mentors with the YNs and teaching like military science and stuff like that. But martial arts is the great example of bringing together the metaphysics and the real world together. So I don't mind when people don't like me. It's appropriate because I'm definitely who I am. Hey, he could cause someone to be distracted with him, and that never made sense. Right. I always thought that Brother Polite needed his ass whooped. I thought, Brother Polite, Umar, and all them other scammers, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, them people who need their ass whooped.
Regularly to continuously
hydrate.
I'm asking you, like,
so it depends on what you're calling.
But the question I asked is, can you give me an example of what an irrational explanation would be from your framework? What would be like a blatantly crazy explanation?
That's why I told you that Yaqub had an irrational reason for creating it, because he wanted to prove that he was God over there.
But why not just say evolution?
It's not evolution though, because it's genetic engineering.
Yeah.
That's not evolution.
So
that's not progress. That's evolution.
Yeah.
Progress.
Yeah. So in contrast, the crazy explanation would be evolution. The insane, low IQ explanation, that would be evolution, which pretty much everyone basically agrees
from one species.
But that's not what actually happened. That's what we're saying. So because there are gaps in that whole theory. That's why it's called a theory, because it was believed
the missing link.
The missing link, because it's believed that everybody came until they did the Human Genome Project.
I suppose my question is, why is that though? Why is it that the framework you use leads you to explanations that 99% of the planet
you're
don't believe
in? That's 99% of the planet, because you think it's just like we say.
Or let's say scientists.
No, but all scientists don't agree. This is why
the vast majority, I think, do believe in evolution now.
But that's your assertion. You can say the vast majority of the.
You want to Google it? You love Googling things. Want to Google that? Want to Google that fact point?
No, the point.
No.
The point where.
Why? Why don't you want to do your own research?
Do facts. We deal with facts, right?
Okay.
So, you want to know why white people, as you refer to them, were created, and we told you why. The reasoning behind it. Illogical for one person, being Yaqub. And then logical for the ones who created the Adamites for a food source, so that they would not be victim to these draconians, right? As well as that, there were Anunnaki who also came in, and then they did their own genetic engineering.
I get you.
Right.
Listen,
so there are different reasons for why.
Yeah.
And both.
I'm trying to build on further questions.
Okay. I just want to add.
So I, as I am, I would be not fully human, or I would be.
We're not all of us.
But in comparison to, kind of the true Egyptians, the true like kings and queens
No,
of
what
Egypt,
I'm saying,
I would be
you're composed of
a little bit.
No, you exactly correct, Battle Genja. You exactly, and that's why I brought up the Haitian Revolution, and that's why I continue to bring up the Haitian Revolution when Black people get stuck in the metaphysics. As you say, there were combat systems already in place. They were learning how to defend themselves. They were learning military science to couple with the spirituality, to couple with the metaphysics. Like, it wasn't that people act like they just used voodoo and defeated the French with just voodoo. Voodoo was the energy, was the battery in their back that helped fuel, but they had combat systems in place. They had they understood military science. They had tactics in place. They had strategy in place. That's why they were able to have the victory that they had. That's very true, but I still let the bro rock. The last thing I would allow is for anyone to invoke contempt on another Black man because I don't get satisfied. Oh no. What I would do is I would never, like I said, I spent, because if I tell people not to study that stuff, I'll be a hypocrite. Because like I said, I spent years and time diving into it. But what I would do is put some perspective to it. I'm not telling you what to believe and what not to believe, but what I am saying is somebody who has studied this stuff for over 15 years, and for somebody who has not seen real change in real life, even though this information exists, then it has to be more than just learning this information. This information has to be coupled with something. And that's why I will bring in like an example like the Haitian Revolution. Like, all right, the metaphysics has a place, but the metaphysics by itself alone isn't enough to free us, because it hasn't freed us yet. But learn it, because I'm fascinated by it. I am fascinated by the metaphysics. I still study stuff to this day. I got all types of books on my shelf, but putting perspective to it, real life perspective to it, you can study all the metaphysics you want. If you don't know how to pair it with real life stuff, we still gonna be in the same position. So yeah, no, I'm with you. You said I would tell people, y'all keep them crystals, I keep the pistols. At least be thorough at who you are and pick. Yep. Hey, you can have the crystal and the pistol. You know what I'm saying? That'll be me to do with the crystal and the pistol.
Less human.
No, that's not, you're making that assertion. We've never said that. All we're saying is giving you the facts.
Oh, so I'm not less human, just a little bit more animal. A little bit more pig. A
Little
little bit more
what you're doing
animal,
is-
but not less human.
What you're doing is you're generalizing. What we've given you is facts about, we were talking about
And
hair.
logic.
Facts
and
we were talking
logic.
about hair originally, and we were saying that we have hair and everyone else has fur. You've taken that emotionally to say that we're saying you're less than human or whatever. We didn't say
who
that.
you are.
Yeah.
It's
One
your
plus
genetics.
one
It's
plus
your
one
genetics.
does equal 2.
No, but
Saying
who
that
you are.
1 plus 1 does actually
So
equal
there's
2.
two complain.
Saying that I'm part animal is actually
yeah, but there's
dehumanizing.
2 complain that is 2.
But is it a fact?
Is it a fact? 1 plus 1 equals 2. There's 2 complain that it wants to be 1 and 1. It doesn't. It just accepts what it is.
Listen, I can accept it. I'm not even necessarily pushing back on that. I can actually probably maybe go with that.
Right. So that's sound right reason.
Maybe it could be. You could have destroyed me there. I'm not too sure. But I suppose going on.
That's not our intention.
No, but I
That's our
suppose-
intention to destroy you.
Yeah, but I suppose going on
It's
from
to give
that,
you the facts.
what is my moral culpability as a kind of, a Yakubian graftee? As a child of Yakub, am I more or less morally culpable than you?
Say that again? Are you more or less?
Yeah, as a child of Yakub, a strong Yakubian soldier, morally, in terms of moral accountability, do I have more or less accountability than you?
You've accepted that you're a child of
Yeah,
Yakub,
exactly.
but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are.
What do you think now? What is
No,
your
so
what
what I think-
what does
don't
your
do it-
framework
this is
say?
what- don't say-
What does your
We
framework
don't
say?
give personal opinions.
We don't. It's not a framework.
It's by your
I'm
actions.
asking for the framework. Give me the framework
But
analysis.
I gave you when you see Vikings, yeah, VI, it's a Roman numeral for 6, and you have kings, 6 kings. From these 6 kings, you have Celtics, Celtics. What? There's a Celtic with an S.
Bro,
No, but
I'm
you
not
have-
being rude.
you
It's
can't
a
ask-
straightforward
you
question.
can't ask the question. I don't listen.
But you're not giving me an answer.
Yeah, but if you
it's
don't
like
listen to the
you're
answer-
basically saying that like I'm to a certain degree like functionally retarded.
No.
which I can,
Okay.
which I'm not even disagreeing with. Like I could be a teensy bit functionally retarded.
What I'm saying.
I accept that. But like if there was someone who was like more retarded than me, I would say you have less accountability. You have less culpability
Yeah,
than I
2026
do.
is the year to
You
bang.
are more retarded than I am.
Is
Therefore,
that
you
what
have
you're
less
saying?
culpability. Does that apply to me?
Yes. In the
Yes.
sense of when we start to look at how things are composed, we have to go into 9 ether, right? 9 ether would be the highest, which is a combination of
They're setting
all
themselves up for his
existing
question.
conscious gases, right?
But
Then from
I-
that,
but-
wait,
but-
let me finish.
Listen,
Let me finish.
I want the workable philosophy. I want the
your
workable
answer-
philosophy.
Your answer is
I'm saying
yes, you're 6 ether. We're
No,
9 ether.
I know that.
So that
I'm not
there-
contesting that.
Right. So
I'm not
so when
debating
you're
that.
asking
I'm
me-
not debating that. What I'm asking is, per your worldview, since I have
You're saying all these terms that
since
we
I-
don't use, and we're trying to correct you because it's not a world.
Listen, please let an ontological interlocutor finish his interlocution. I'm asking you a real question here. That is, if I have less moral culpability than you, why can I not say the N-word? Why can I not say the N-word?
He set him up.
No, that's a real thing.
So basically, the white guy is saying, since you all are sitting here telling me that I am less human, I am less intelligent, I'm an inferior being, then why can I call you the N-word? They should have slapped him in his bangs just for asking that question, just for thinking. Like, what's up with people being so eager and wanting so bad to use the N-word, even to call us that? So that lets you know it's something messed up in him to want to call black people the N-word. And be nice. Your comment, actually, Sonny, your comment and Be Nice's comment were right on time about the bangs and their behavior, right? Said the total amalgamation of spiritual, metaphysical, socioeconomic, political, psychological, and paleological is the lethal weapon that they are afraid of when solidarity incorporates the cohesion of all. Yes, Jay. Yes, Jay. Yes, Jay. And we need to understand that it all goes together. Because we keep it fractioned, and as long as it's fractioned, it's not gonna come together. We got to put it all together. He is technically, but they have this unique trait that developed over years of learning how to hunt and eat the most apex predators on the planet. People they call the trait IQ. Hey, and now he set them up. He walked them into a trap because he's like, if I am less than you, then you shouldn't have a problem with somebody who is feeble-minded calling you the N-word. Okay, so with your same feeble mind, do you have a need to call any other group a racial slur? Right, asking us to accept insults. He's saying because you telling me I'm smooth-brained, then you should allow me to disrespect you. He wants to do it because he's saying, even though you guys are describing me as less than human, me calling you the N-word is reminding you of who you are.
Why am I not held to a lesser standard of language than you?
Who told you that you can't say it? And why?
Can I say it?
No, you're not answering my question.
Can I say it right now?
No, I'm asking if you
demonstrate it.
No, but I'm saying you're avoiding the fact of there is a derogatory term, which is why certain people cannot say it. Because
yeah, but I'm lesser than you.
Because
why does it matter?
What that's illogical.
Like
you're asking
if
a
someone,
very rhetorical question.
If someone's more retarded than me and they call me retarded, that doesn't really resonate because they have less accountability.
So why would you want to say it?
I don't really know.
So, but even his example doesn't hold up. He's saying if somebody has a mental retardation, you have one person with a mental retardation, and they are in a back and forth or whatever, they're in a conversation with another person with a mental retardation that is more severe than theirs, then those two people would be a part of the same community, because he's basically like, that's like a rich black person calling a poor black person the N-word and it being intra-group. Because now you're talking about intra-group politics versus inter-group politics. And so even if let's go with the theory that white men are grafted to be some kind of lesser being from these big head scientists and all these things here. All right. But it's still not an intra-group deal. It's an inter-group deal, which means both of us are not a part of the same group. And in this case, for this conversation, both of us will not be a part of the same species. So that would be even less of a reason for you to call me that, because there will be punishment to come to it. If you are a lesser being than me, then you should know your place, that you have no room and no power, and there will be full consequence if you insult me, especially with the history of this word. But because the word exists, ultimately shows the power dynamic. Because I set the bar really low, slow. Yep. They should have karate chopped him for even asking that question.
Well, listen. It may very well be.
You know why?
It may very well be my Yakubian epigenetics that coming to the surface.
No,
but I feel a real compulsion to say.
And when it suits you, you will say it's because I'm retarded.
What I'm saying is that will you give me permission?
You're not retarded.
Will
in
you
the sense of how you're using the word?
I clearly am retarded, but will you give me permission now to say the N-word?
No.
No. Why not?
Why ask the question if you don't want to accept the answer?
I'm asking for your framework.
But do you accept the answer?
I accept the answer, but I want the framework reason.
There's nothing more to discuss. If you accept it, there's nothing to discuss.
But I'm analyzing the framework. I want to know
what you're trying to do is
worm
your way around it. Because you said, "Can I say it?" We said a direct answer. No, you can't.
So why is that a bad thing?
No, but I'm saying, why does it?
If Wu Sabat is ontologically true, nothing I do should be really troubling you right now. You should have a perfect answer. Okay, then again, I'm asking from a framework perspective, why can I not now say the N-word?
Joseph.
Because I want to.
We are not religious.
Because I want to.
Joseph, listen. We're not religious people.
I really want to.
Joseph, listen. We're not religious people. If you came to
and see, Sonny, your point. Most people miss your point because most people don't really study history. If they just study history, they can see. That's why I always ask the question: Did white supremacists intellectualize their way into the position that they're in, or did they will pass? History will tell you that. You don't have to be. Look, the Gauls and the Saxons couldn't read and wash their butts properly, but they sacked Rome. They overtook Rome, who was they were highly more civilized than the Gauls and the Saxons. You don't need to know. You don't need to be intellectual to whoop ass. And we keep trying to intellectualize ourselves out of oppression. And one thing we haven't learned how to do is whoop ass. Because we think because we can beat each other up that we can whoop ass. We can't whoop nobody's ass. That's why we still in position we in.
Attack us. We would not watch you and turn the other cheek. We would deal with you accordingly. We would reinforce with force.
Yes.
So if you're going to be disrespectful or rude or use a derogatory term that we find offensive, we're not going to allow you to do that.
That implies parody.
Because you wouldn't allow us to do
that. That implies parody. That implies moral parody. We're co-equal.
We're supposed to be speaking on a level
and not letting snake talk
of intelligence, not dropping down to a point of.
But I am down. I'm a Yakubian graftee. I am down.
You've accepted that.
That's your on you. So let Happy read.
What they should do, since he wants to be a lower level being, treat him like a lower level being. Punish him for his insolence. Isn't if the shoe was on the other foot, wouldn't they punish the black person for his insolence? Wouldn't they punish the black person for even the thought of disrespect? Punish him. If he wants to play the lower level being, treat him like a lower level being. Toss his ass in the dungeons. Right. Metaphysics ain't helping them fight back properly on this. He reminds me of an interaction I had in Antigua with the British male while on vacation. He asked the same thing about what if I wanted to say, man, look here. Yeah. Insolence. Drop him on his head. Right? They don't have the physicality, nor that, because it's all talk. All we've learned how to do over the last 70 years is talk. We don't fight back properly in no type of way in mass. Shout out to the few who do. Shout out to the small contingent of black people who actually fight back properly, but for the most part, talk. Their metaphysics isn't coupled with anything real. Right, Sonny. Just because. Yep.
So hold me to a lower standard right now.
I just want to say something.
Hold me to a lower standard and let me, please.
You use the word, right? Moral and immoral.
I can use a soft A if you want.
You know, I just use the word to use,
okay.
Moral and immoral. And you ask, what determines whether a person is moral or immoral?
Moral culpability.
Yeah, or immoral. What is your answer to that? If we put the question to you, what determines whether a person is moral or immoral?
Do you want a secular framework like
No, you know what we want? An answer. From you, give us your answer. If someone said to you, a child says to you, Daddy, what makes a person moral or immoral? What answer would you give that child?
Utilizing the framework laid out in Dynamics by L. Ron Hubbard, I would say that an immoral act would be something that would hinder your survival or the survival of your family, your nation, or your like nation state. So I would say that would be my general secular analysis.
Do you accept truth? Do you live by truth or do you live by lies?
Well, truth is based on consensus.
Truthfully, do you use that word when we're not around, or when you're amongst your peers or other people you feel comfortable with?
What do I say it like all the time?
Right, be nice.
No, do you say it? Do you use it?
You're asking if I say the N-word all the time?
Yes.
No, not all the time.
Not all the
Just
time.
use
Do you say it
amongst your peers?
Amongst your own peers?
What will happen depending on the answer I give there?
See, the thing is,
well, remember, these are supposed to be the frontline fighters of blackness, and these are supposed to be the people over the years who are supposed to be spurring black people forward. These are the people who represent the muscle and the intelligence of the conscious community. No wonder the conscious community hasn't produced anything. These dudes, they got their heads in the clouds. They haven't come out of the clouds. Lego black men, right? They haven't come out of the clouds. Well, let me let this finish up.
I'm saying that because you said to us, I really want to say it. Like,
yes.
You've never said it before, you don't say it anyway. I do. So to come to us and be in front of us and say, I really want to say it, implies you want to say it to insult us or to be derogatory towards us.
No.
Because if you use it already anyway, why are you asking for permission to use it?
I think it would be cathartic. I think it would be a moment of like moral parity between interlocutors.
I think you're literally...
No, it would be
you're insulting our intelligence right now.
You're demonstrating linguistic equality between you and me. We can both say the exact same words, use the exact same nomenclature. You're demonstrating...
I would demonstrate slap the fuck out of you equality. Since you can, while you're demonstrating linguistic equality, I'm demonstrating slap the fuck out of you equality. You call me the N-word, I'm diving in your mouth. I'm punching you in your mouth. You call me the N-word, it's gonna be cathartic for me to punch you in your face. Why would I give you permission? Why would I give you permission to disrespect me? Yep. Like, that's crazy. This is crazy. I wouldn't even engage in this conversation. As soon as we shutting this down. But even they'll go this far for content. They will go this far for content, having this conversation with this fool, because he's telling you how he feels and what he thinks. The random white boy. These guys are supposed to be so intelligent. They'll sit down and have a conversation with a random white boy, talking about how he feel and what he think based off of just whatever. Because I want to call you the N-word. There you go. There you go, Sonny.
Demonstrating linguistic equality between you and me by giving me permission to say the
you're
N-word,
retarded,
which you
the
won't
next
do.
minute you're using linguistic.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to
Yeah.
you already know, based on what Hatu just asked you, that it's not going to be something that we would take as a positive thing.
I guess
you shouldn't be coming to us in front of us and telling us, can I use the N-word?
I'll use the last word. I guess in my summary, the way you engage with me right now, that implies you don't believe what you say you do. You actually don't think that I'm this weird lower being who is just like this kind of like. I never said that. You behave as if I'm a human being just like you in every single way, and not a Yakubi in gravity. Therefore, I think you're demonstrating insincerity. And if you want to demonstrate sincerity right now, let me do it.
If you're Yakubi, whatever you call yourself, that doesn't mean that as intelligent higher beings that we don't respect all life forms. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, even the white dude full of it. Even if you go to look at, I'm a big mythology fan. No gods in any mythology, in any pantheon, tolerated disrespect. Like gods would severely punish people for disrespecting them, especially people who were lower beings than them. They would severely punish them. They would like step on people and like floods and fire and brimstone and all these things, like across pantheons. Like Zeus, are you crazy? If Zeus would destroy people that didn't even do nothing to him, is he crazy? He knows. Of course he knows better. Of course he knows better. He ain't dumb. And go read any mythology, any pantheon. Those gods would crush people for disrespect. But think about the trick that the white guy is saying. The white guy is saying, if you are in power, then you wouldn't have a problem with people lower than you disrespecting you. Well, that's not how you maintain power, white boy. That's not how you don't maintain. Name me the group of people who maintain power by tolerating disrespect. Name me the group. What real disrespect do white supremacists allow without crushing me, without punishment? What disrespect do Jews allow? What disrespect do the only group of people on earth that allows disrespect is black people. That's why he sitting in front of 3 black dudes saying what he's saying. With the Jedi, with the Jedi mind tricks wearing bangs. No group of people in power would allow any inferior group to disrespect them. That's how you lose power. We're not stupid. We are not dumb. But the years and years and years and years and years of us not producing anything or not reproducing anything, because there was a time where black people built. Then white people destroyed what we built. Then black people got our hearts snatched out of us, and we decided not to build anymore. We decided to integrate instead of building, because that's easier. Yeah, right, Sonny. But like they say, you already used the words. Why are you asking us, can you use it? And his point was, well, because you guys said that I was a lesser being. So that's even more reason for us to not let you use it. Duh. Because you are a lesser being. Why would I let a lesser being disrespect me? Now you're going to go around here thinking you got power. Hey, the YNs, depending on how old they are, they still can become intellectuals, but we need to change the culture around them. They need to change environments. I work with young men on a regular basis who are considered YNs, and I can tell you there are good young men who have been misguided, who are in bad environments and need better, and I do my best to show them better. And then the ones who actually listen to me, when they actually listen to me, they get the results. They get desired results. They get good results when they actually listen to me. When they don't listen to me, they don't get the results they want. But that's through like years and years and years of existing a specific way. Then I come along and say, hey, no, let's do it this way. Of course, it's gonna take time. But we need to get back into our community. If we're serious about making sure we produce more black men and YNs, then we got to be active in our communities. We got to be active. The real work starts in the community to shave off a lot of this hopelessness that we have. Yeah, they probably do. But I also said these are guys who came out of the camp of Malachi Z. York. These guys are still with the early 1990s, early to mid 90s tactics that don't work. That it didn't work then and it don't work now. When it comes to strategy, black people, we got to get better. We got to understand what strategy is and use it. This is where think tanks and all these different things come in. So, right, exactly. The YNs were made. They were raised in the environments that produced that. So I didn't get a chance to get to our third story. Time is run out. My 2 hours is up. My time is out. It's time I get allotted for the day because I got to go do some other things. But so the David Oyelowo story, that controversy they had on the 154 podcast, that's going to be our Tuesday. That's what we're gonna talk about on Tuesday. Matter of fact, I might have a live for y'all on Monday because I'm off on Monday, so I might have a live for y'all on Monday. But I know Tuesday we're talking about David Oyelowo. Excuse me, David Oyelowo. So we're talking about that on Tuesday. Hey, you say 19 keys? Yes, 19. Look, man. Yeah, 19 keys is funny, man. That's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. Yeah. But they have a massive audience of people who still believe. They have a massive audience of people who still believe but have no real world results. Hey, and I could have a massive audience if I lied to the people too, but I can't lie to the people. I can't scam to the people, but you know. Hey man, please, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Tell a friend to tell a friend, hit that hype button so more people can be here, more people can know about it. We can continue to grow, we can continue to politics, speak the truth, and make sure y'all continue to come back. We're gonna agree sometimes, we're gonna disagree sometimes, but as long as we don't disrespect each other, we all good. And let's continue to grow. And like I always say, if you are doing anything in real life that needs support, put it in the comments. Let's make sure we're supporting each other. Make sure we're linking up. All right. I appreciate all of you all. Kiki, everybody, Black Butterflies, all of you, Battle Genja, Terrell, everybody, Sonny, all y'all, Be Nice, everybody that was in here today. I appreciate all y'all. Jay, I appreciate everybody who show up on a regular basis, everybody who continue to support everything. I appreciate y'all. And you know, we'll be back going live again. I might go live on Monday. You might see me live on Monday. I hope y'all are enjoying y'all Juneteenth weekend. Take this Juneteenth time to make sure you learn some Black history as well. Here in Tallahassee, Florida, May 20th is our Juneteenth. May Day, Emancipation Day is our Juneteenth, which happened literally a month before Galveston, Texas. So take this time to learn some real history. And remember, if anytime the white man have to tell you to celebrate your own history, that let you know you're in trouble. Because remember, Juneteenth wasn't a nationally recognized and a nationally celebrated holiday until Joe Biden told Black people to do it. So once again, going back to the theme of the show, having other people rewrite our history for us and rewrite our stories for us and rewrite our destination for us. We gotta change that. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna start running my mouth and I'll see y'all later. Peace, y'all. I love y'all. Happy Saturday. Happy Juneteenth.